You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo, joined as always by Peter Alves. Peter, how we doing? It's officially, it's been spooky season for a whole month, but Halloween is right around the corner. It's going to be on next Monday. So, Peter, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I love Halloween. This week's been the worst week ever. I'm going to complain a lot in this podcast. Listen, every one of my fantasy leagues, I lost. I don't count the Dynasty League. I'm literally tanking in that league, and I'm literally in second place. How does that make sense? Everybody sucks.
Everybody sucks, yeah.
And that, I lost all my 6 fantasy leagues. All my teams are dumpster fires. I lost Brees Hall in 3 of my leagues and my other Dynasty League.
Ooh.
Let's see. I lost my Survivor League with the Patriots because they can't. I don't know why I didn't pick the Cardinals, to be honest.
You were high in the Cardinals, too.
Yeah, I should have done that. So I was pissed off at that. Yeah, I'm going to be pissed off. And then Mark Andrews got no points. I have him like everywhere. So it is what it is. And he has a practice all week. So.
And they play Thursday, of course. I didn't do too bad. I lost in trying to think the leagues I'm in with you. I lost in XFL by like 3 points to TJ, and I got screwed because the Chargers, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, were getting their butts kicked in the game, and Herbert had the ball with like 3 minutes left, and he threw a touchdown pass, gave TJ an additional whatever it was, 8-9 points, and Najee Harris wasn't able to get 14 points for me at the end. I think he gave me 10 because he's Najee Harris. So that was frustrating. And then the Dynasty League, I'm trying to think. I lost to Seth. So I lost in both leagues with you, but I won every other league that I'm in, not with you. So.
And then XFL, nobody wants to trade a running back. I got fucking called out.
You got mocked, Peter. You got mocked.
Listen, all you got to do is press decline. Aaron Jones is the 9th running back on the year. What do you want me to do?
So to put a little bit of
he's my 2nd round pick.
Well, a little bit of substance. Anybody. Peter, Peter, he texted me. We were trying to make a deal, and I didn't want to give up. I have Mike Evans. I didn't want to give up Mike Evans. So whatever. So
a couple minutes. I want Mike Evans, but
yeah, shocker. So a couple minutes later, we see in our fantasy football group chat Cam, who doesn't really respond to group chats. That was the first time I've seen his name on my phone in a year. He was just like, Peter, stop trying to screw me. It ain't gonna work, Chief. I laughed so hard. I literally laughed so hard.
But to be fair, I should have seen that coming because last week I tried the same exact trade and he was like, no. He texted me, he's like, get out. And I was like, all right, sorry.
It was just so funny because Cam, we love Cam, but he's not very active in any group chats I'm in,
yeah.
And it was just so funny that he called you out randomly. Oh, I thought that was hysterical.
Now Aaron Jones is my stupid bench because I don't want to start him. So whatever.
And Peter, like I said, anyone but Mike Evans and CeeDee Lamb. I told you Devonta Smith's on the.
Bro, I don't want Devonta Smith. I have too much Devonta Smith.
I'm sorry. That's all I got. Unless you want Allen Robinson, and I don't think you do.
Know. And then I texted Jake because he needs a quarterback, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to trade Lamar Jackson for Hunter Renfrow?" And then I was like, "All right, get out of here." I was
yes.
Like I don't even know what you're doing, bro.
We love Goldberg. Shout out Goldberg. We know you listening. Shout out Goldberg. All right, Peter. So we were kind of recapping our fantasy leagues. Let's recap how we did in our bets this week. I'll start off. Peter, however, I am proud to announce that I got my first Thursday night pick correctly.
You're welcome.
Going into the week, I was 0-6 picking Thursday night games, and I picked the Cardinals minus 1.5, and they won against the Saints. However, Peter, I was worried in the first half. The Saints, I think, were up 10-0, 14-0, whatever it was in the game. But Andy Dalton turned into Andy Dalton. He threw 2 pick sixes, and Cardinals got a couple lucky breaks, and they steamrolled the Saints. So I got that one right. I also got the Titans minus 2.5 right. They ended up beating the Indianapolis Colts. We'll talk about that game later. Those were my 2 wins, and then I was 0-3 in my other ones. I had the Falcons +6. It was their first loss against the spread.
Thank you.
Yep. I had the Ravens minus 6.5 against the Browns. I thought that was a real lock, man. I really didn't. I got that one wrong. And then, of course, like everyone else on the planet, I had the Patriots minus 8, which was my premium pick and my survivor pick, Peter. So I got that wrong. Very unfortunate for a number of reasons. But yeah, so now, Peter, I've actually lost my last 3 premium picks in a row after starting off 4-0.
So I won my premium pick, as you said, Cardinals -1.5. I take credit for the Thursday night win. That's the first Thursday night game I think I actually picked. Then I got Jets +3, 5-2 Jets. Jumbo Jets, let's go. And then under 40 on the Carolina Panthers and the Bucs. Listen, like we said, like every single week, we should just pick 5 unders and they'll probably win. But then we lost. I lost on the Falcons +6. Thank you. First time you picked the Falcons like 4 weeks. Thank you. And Patriots -8. You should have told me that you're going to the game. I haven't bet on the Patriots in like weeks. I thought you were clear because it's Monday.
And I went for the Lions game.
It was raining. Yeah, no, it was raining. Yeah, but I didn't bet that on the graphic. I thought you weren't gonna go. I thought it was in the clear, and then I saw your story, and then I was like, yeah.
Yeah, well, Peter, I unfortunately need to bet the Colts in a couple weeks because I will be at that game as well. But yeah, so yeah, you were what 3-2? I was doing 3.
Yeah, 500, I guess.
Yeah, 500. Yeah, you take that. You're on a roll. I'm on a little bit of a slide. I was 2-3 this past week. I think the week before I was 1-4. So I'm struggling a little bit, trying to find my footing. I like this board a little bit more than last week's. We'll see if it comes to fruition. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, so be sure to keep on listening for our picks. And Peter's hot, so you should probably follow Peter. He's hot, and probably should fade me, but I do think I'm going to break through this week, Peter. I have a good feeling. Good feeling. But, Peter, let's start off like we usually do, talking about the Thursday night game, which we both got correctly. Cardinals beat the Saints 42-34. And like we said, Andy Dalton, 2 pick sixes in the game. Dalton was 30 of 47, 361 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Other side of things, Kyler Murray was 20 of 29, 204 yards and a touchdown. This was the return of DeAndre Hopkins. He had 10 receptions for 103 yards. Also, Eno Benjamin coming out of nowhere in the Cardinals backfield with 92 carries, 92 rush yards on 12 carries.
92 carries?
Not 92 carries. So yeah, big win for the Cardinals. They moved to 3-4 on the year, and the Saints fall to 2-5 on the year. And before we kind of get into this, the Saints were a team that everybody kind of liked heading into the year. I wasn't necessarily one of those people, but a lot of people thought the Saints could compete for the division, that they could win 10 to 11 games. A lot of people were high on the Saints. I never really saw that, and it hasn't come together at all because now head coach Dennis Allen just named Andy Dalton the starter for this coming week. It is not Jameis Winston, so call it a benching, call it a he's not ready to play, call it whatever you want it. Andy Dalton is the starter in New Orleans. Michael Thomas has been out a while. Jarvis Landry has been out a long time. Alvin Kamara missed a couple weeks. He's clearly not right. So this Saints team, it's just does not look good, man. And on top of all that, Peter, they do not own a first-round pick.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll get into the whole division. The whole division, the crapshoot. Saints 2-5, but 1 game back in the division, so it doesn't really matter there. Thought that Jameis Winston must be really hurt because I thought he was going to come in. Guess not. I thought Taysom Hill was going to come in as an actual quarterback. Didn't happen, especially after the second pick six. After the second pick six, Al Michaels has no emotion. He literally was just like, "Oh, look at that pick six." I was like, "Holy crap!" Okay. But, on the Cardinals, enjoy Kyler Murray. Friday MW2 is coming out. See you later. But yeah, James Conner is probably coming back. Cardinals might be rolling. Cardinals are only 1 game back to the division as well. So that division is a crapshoot as well. So yeah, Hopkins coming back is amazing, but that decreases the value on everybody else. But just with Hollywood Brown going down for at least a month, and just slot Hopkins right back in.
Yeah, and I think Hopkins, who of course missed the first 6 games of the year, is going to make a big impact on that offense. Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's been okay for the Cardinals. They also added Robbie Anderson last week, who is probably going to fill in as their number 3 receiver, 4 receiver when everybody's healthy, which I think it ultimately will help the team. I'm still not high on this Cardinals team. I'm not. I'm still not. I don't think they make the playoffs, and I still have some major concerns about the infrastructure on that team. Talking about the quarterback, general manager, and the head coach, still have a lot of question marks there. I don't think the Cardinals defense is very good. The run game still has given me concerns, and I don't know. I'm still not high on this Cardinals team, but they needed this game, man. Thursday night at home against Andy Dalton and a Saints team that is littered with injuries on both sides of the ball. They needed this game. All right, Peter, let's move on to one quarterback controversy to another. Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans win that big AFC South showdown 19-10. Ryan Tannehill went 13 of 20 for 132 yards. Derrick Henry was good in this game. 30 carries, 128 yards. He averaged close to 4.5 yards a carry. He looks right. Other side of things with the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan was 33 of 44 for 243 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. He was also sacked 3 times. Jonathan Taylor continues to not look like himself. He had 10 carries for 58 yards. So, Peter, the Colts fall to 3-3-1, and the Titans move to 4-2, and they have a clear hold on that AFC South. And after this game, Matt Ryan struggled, of course, like I just said. Frank Reich came out on Monday and said, hey, Matt Ryan's going to miss a couple weeks here with a shoulder injury, and he will not be the starting quarterback for the team anymore. The starting quarterback for the remainder of the season for the Indianapolis Colts will be quarterback Sam Ehlinger from Texas. From the college football fans that know of Sam Ehlinger, he will now be the quarterback of the Colts. Matt Ryan benched, which is crazy to me. I shouldn't say crazy to me. Matt Ryan has played some really bad football. So on the field, it shouldn't surprise me. But when you look at his contract off the field, that's the part that surprised me. He's owed $24.7 million guaranteed this year. And I think next year it's $17.2 million.
Yeah, listen, I think the Colts might be the worst team in football. They do absolutely nothing right. It's true. Matt Ryan is showing himself. Doesn't make any of his receivers look good. Jonathan Taylor, although came back, he looks terrible. The O-line doesn't look good. Defense looks terrible. Frank Reich is just coaching for his job. And I think that regardless how Sam Ehlinger does, I think he gets a free pass just because it's not Matt Ryan anymore. It's a first-year rookie. So maybe that's why he did it. And then, as you said, the Titans, they locked up the division. They swept versus the Colts. And even if I don't think that the Colts will win this division anymore. I think I picked the Colts like an idiot.
I picked the Titans, and I feel good about that pick now for sure. So Sam Ehlinger, if you don't know who he is, he was the quarterback for the Texas Longhorns for a number of years. I think it was 3 years. He really showed out on the field there. He ended up being a 6th-round pick in the 2021 draft. And he was a guy that the Indianapolis Colts sort of liked. They kind of kept him around as the 3rd stringer last year. They kind of kept him going through, and they elevate him over Nick Foles. And we all know, of course, Nick Foles with the Super Bowl victory, and he has some pedigree there, but they go with Sam Ehlinger. He's somebody that I guess teammates gravitate towards. He's somebody they want to give a shot to. So I don't necessarily think he's going to be awful. Like, I think he can play a little bit. I was surprised he went in the 6th round of the draft. I thought he was going to be closer to a 4th or 5th round quarterback, and he ended up falling. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's about 6'1". And he's going to make his first career start this coming Sunday against the Commanders. So that should be interesting to see. I believe he was only active for 3 games last year, and I think this will be his first game he's actually active this year. So it's a big switch up for sure. So we'll see if it ends up working out for the Colts. But in terms of Matt Ryan, look, since he got to the Super Bowl with the Falcons and won that MVP award, he struggled. He's 38-48-1 in his last 87 starts with the Falcons and the Colts. And he just hasn't looked right. I feel like he's diminished physically, and he just never gelled with this Colts offense. And I think Frank Reich is coaching for his job, and I think this was one of the reasons why he decided to make the call, because I think he knows that unless he kind of turns things around and gets a spark, he's gone. And I think Sam Ehlinger is going to be someone they want to give a spark to. I don't think it's going to work out. Like, I think the Colts will probably end up with 6-7 wins at most. And it's in all likelihood, I think Frank Reich is probably gone. It's just a shame to see Matt Ryan's career kind of end like this. And he's just somebody that it feels like it wasn't that long ago. He was the MVP of the league, and he was putting up all these passing yards and putting up all these passing numbers. And now he's just a complete shell of himself. And he's going to lose his job to his 6th-round, second-year quarterback. So it's awful to see from that front, especially if you're a Matt Ryan fan. But yeah, Peter, I think his career is virtually over. I don't think he's going to get many starting opportunities unless Sam Ehlinger goes down or Nick Foles go down or whoever it may be. But I was just surprised, especially with all that guaranteed money. But Frank Reich isn't messing around.
Yeah, I mean, I think your best friend Tom Brady ruined the quarterback position. Matt Ryan, I think, is like 37-38 anyways, and he should be on the decline, but Tom Brady doesn't care. So every quarterback's like, oh, I can do it. It's fine. 2, block your ears, Noah. Listen, I have a 2 quarterback league, and I'm 5-2 in that league. A miracle. I have Baker Mayfield He's dead now. Matt Ryan, he's dead now. And then the only one left, I have Jared Goff. So, yeah. So, sorry, Noah. He's going to get hurt this week. And then 3, Malik Willis might start next week as well for the Titans. Because Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill got banged up, but he did return to the game. When Tannehill went down, though, I think it was an ankle. I was like, ooh, that looks bad.
Well, he was in a walking boot.
Yeah. We'll check his practice status, but he did finish the game, which is usually a good sign. So we will see on that front, but I think it's a big for the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Man, ever since Andrew Luck retired, Peter, you look at the quarterbacks, they've kind of went through Jacoby Brissett, Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and somehow Matt Ryan is the worst of them all. And you would have thought that he might have been the best of them all. And just crazy how that whole saga has unfolded with the Indianapolis Colts. Their refusal to really take a quarterback high in the draft has kind of had me scratching my head for a little bit. Now, if Sam Ehlinger can play, then the Colts were right, but I'm just not convinced that he's going to light the world on fire. And the Colts have had opportunities to draft quarterbacks, and they just have passed like the last 6 years.
Who's going to be the next quarterback? Let's see. Baker Mayfield, maybe.
For the Colts?
Yeah.
Well, Peter, we'll get into it later, but I get a lot of rude texts instead of Mac Jones.
Maybe. I mean, no, maybe Zappe. I need to find a dead quarterback. We'll
talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to the Monday night game. But yeah, I get some rude text messages, Peter. People weren't nice to me. All right, let's move on, Peter. Let's talk about the Commanders-Packers, a game that we both did not pick. Packers were 5.5-point favorites, but I think we both kind of figured the Packers would get this win, right? They were 3-3 coming into the game. The Commanders were starting Taylor Heineke, making his first start of the year. It was kind of a game the Packers needed and the kind of game that they usually have had in the past. But, Peter, 2022 continues to be a weird year in the NFL, and the Packers lose to Taylor Heineke and the Washington Commanders. The Packers fall to 3-4. 3-4. And the Commanders win moves them to 3-4. Taylor Heineke, he just wins, man. It's not pretty, but hey, he gets the job done. 20 of 33, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Brian Robinson, it was good to see him get involved. He had 20 carries for 73 yards. I think he's clearly the number one back in Washington. And Terry McLaurin, he finally got involved, Peter. On 8 targets, he had 5 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown he caught was a pretty 37-yard pass. Other side of things, Aaron Rodgers, he continued to not be himself. He was 23 of 35 for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Packers had no run game whatsoever. All right, Peter, how many carries combined do you believe Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon had in this game?
Not enough.
The answer's 12.
Not enough. Yeah,
Would you like to guess the yards? How many total yards Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have?
Not enough. Probably like 30. If they
close. 38 yards.
Yeah, not enough.
12 carries, 38 yards combined. That averages about 3.2 yards a carry. Not what you want to see. The Packers were winning this game at halftime, and they kind of just, I don't want to say melted, but they didn't do enough to win this game. Got lackadaisical in the second half, weren't able to move the football.
Good word.
Lackadaisical? Yeah, it is a good word. Yeah, that's a 20-point word. Maybe Matt should add that to his new dictionary he has going.
No, that's not cool.
That's not cool. Forget about that. Yeah. Yeah, so Peter, what do you think of the Packers? I know we talked about it a lot last week. Are the Packers dead? Not dead, but are the Packers in some serious trouble? And I don't know how you can watch this game this week and think they're not at least this isn't business as usual for Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, and company.
So Matt LaFleur might get fired. I'm on that train. I think he might get fired because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is gonna. Oh, listen, they should be running the ball way more than they are, even if it was terrible this game. I don't get why they don't do that. Aaron Rodgers is definitely missing his number one receiver, but obviously Devontae Adams is going to walk through that door. He needs help, not to be Tom Brady, but he really needs help. Rip Romeo Dobbs, because I think he just got exiled. He dropped 2 balls.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I started him in our league together, and he put up a whopping 0 points.
Yeah, I think after the press conference, he got absolutely shelled by Aaron Rodgers. But yeah,
I think it was about him too. Yeah,
I mean, they got to make a wild card spot, and that. With the Giants and the Cowboys and the Eagles being 5-1 or 6-0 or whatever it is, it's gonna be really hard because I don't think the Vikings are gonna choke over that division. So yeah, I mean Aaron Rodgers isn't done, but he looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
That whole team all the way around. There should be a top 5 defense. That defense is bottom half of the league. There's nothing going right.
So. And I thought they were going to be a top 5 unit defensively and offensively. Look, I said the Vikings are going to be really good. I picked them to actually come out of the NFC, but I did not take into equation that the Packers were going to be this bad. Like, they just look completely different as opposed to this year, to last year, the year before. And I think it has to do with a number of reasons. One being, I do believe that Aaron Rodgers is unhappy with the skill position players. He made that very clear on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if you heard his comments, Peter, but he was like, I think we need to change up the reps. Some people that don't deserve them should, like, I don't know. He was very
Listen, that's what you get
feisty.
for not drafting a wide receiver ever in the first round. And B, that's what you get for giving Aaron Rodgers like $50 million.
I was just going to say, Aaron Rodgers, you're not unhappy about it. You just took a $50 million a year, and that's why they couldn't afford a guy like Devontae Adams. So if you want to talk about it like that. I also think the defense is not as good as they thought it would be, which doesn't really make too much sense to me. I thought it was going to be a very good unit. I think Aaron Rodgers has regressed a little bit. I'm not saying it's all his fault. He's good enough for them to be a playoff team competing. And I also think the run game has been disappointing. Aaron Jones, he's not looked necessarily the same. I thought A.J. Dillon would take more of a leap this year, and they kind of haven't went all in for it. I don't think the offensive line is very good either. I know Rodgers wasn't sacked in this game, but they've dealt with some injuries on the offensive line. And I think that plays into a part of it as well. And I also think, say what you want about this, but their special teams unit is the worst in the NFL.
We were saying that last year. That's the reason they lost the playoff.
It cost them the playoff game. And this year, they added Rich Bisaccia as the special teams coordinator, and it hasn't made much of a difference. It arguably cost them the game last week. And I think it's just a unit that has failed. And ultimately, you can point the finger at Rich Bisaccia and say it's on you, but this is 2 years in a row, 2 consecutive years. It's on Matt LaFleur to get things right here. And special teams isn't about scheming and I mean, it's a little bit of strategy involved, but a lot of it is just discipline, doing the right thing, and the Packers special teams unit does not display that at all. And I think that's a reason as well. But Aaron Rodgers and company has an opportunity to get right back into it because the NFC is clearly a conference which has a many holes, a lot of uncertainty, and I don't think the division is necessarily out of reach for the Packers. And at the minimum, I see them competing for a wild card spot. And you would think they're going to get it together this week. They have a tough game this week. They play at Buffalo. Bills coming off a bye. And that's going to be a real tough game. And if they fall to 3-5, then I think there's going to be some more questions about the Packers. But then it would have to be, what will they do after that? So we'll see on that front.
If you told me that the Packers and Bears in week, 8, would have the same wins, that would be so funny. Yeah, but they do.
Makes no sense to me. And Peter, if you would have told me that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers would have the same amount of wins, 3-4 through 7 games, I would have also told you that you were crazy. Let's talk about this game, Peter.
My MVP,
Carolina Panthers. Peter's MVP. I believe it was his Super
Bowl winner, which can still happen. That can still happen.
It can still happen, but the MVP, Brady is not winning the MVP. And the Carolina Panthers, fresh off of trading Christian McCaffrey, fresh after firing head coach Matt Rule, fresh after trading Robbie Anderson. This is what happens. The Panthers beat the Bucs 21-3. PJ freaking Walker, who came into training camp, Peter, as their 4th quarterback, was 16 of 22, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. How about Deonta Foreman? 15 carries, 118 yards. DJ Moore finally bursts onto the scene. His first time he's actually done stuff this year. 7 receptions, 69 yards, and a touchdown. 1 week after I traded him in one league, right? Of course, that's always.
Oh, no, I'll go off on that. Listen, I'm the biggest DJ Moore fan you'll ever hear in your whole life. The 1 week I bench him. I have him in every single league except your ESPN league. Every single place. And I benched him everywhere. And the moment I bench him, he goes off.
Yeah, I tell you what, I had him in one league, and I ended up moving him.
Oh, it's been bad.
It's been real bad, and I thought for sure this was it. Other side of things, Tom Brady and the Bucs. Brady was 32 of 49 for 290 yards. He was sacked once, and the Bucs continue to struggle running the ball. Their leading rusher was Rachaad White. He had 6 carries for 24 yards. Leonard Fournette had 8 carries for 19 yards. Our guy Mike Evans had 9 catches for 96 yards, but that was about it. And Tom Brady was held without a touchdown. I can't believe it, man. Bucs fall to 3-4. Panthers moved to 2-5. Somehow through 7 weeks, the Carolina Panthers are 1 game behind the Tampa Bay Bucs, and the Panthers somehow are 2 games back in that division.
Yeah, that division of crapshoot, as I said, 3-4 Bucs. They really have nothing to worry about. Falcons, Panthers, and Saints are absolute garbage, so it doesn't really matter. But that's what you get with Todd Bowles. I think he's a little over his head. They might need Bruce Arians back, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Mike Evans should be assaulted for not catching that touchdown pass right over the middle.
Oh my God.
Whoa, what is he doing? Like that's right in
Dude,
your hands, 45-yard catch, whatever it is.
Peter, I kid you not. I threw the remote control. I was so mad.
That's how I knew it was.
I have Brady in one league.
Yeah.
Evans in another. I needed that. In 2 leagues that I was struggling in, I needed Brady and Evans to have a nice game. And right off the top, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that O-line looks terrible. As I said before, good to see Chris Godwin escape another game unhealthy. Russell Gage got hurt. That whole team is getting down. O-line is terrible. I don't know. They should coast until December, I guess, but they got a lot of problems. And then the Panthers, obviously, everything is going to run through DJ Moore. So it is what it is. Panthers are the Panthers. Good return what they got for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about the Niners later on. But here's the thing for the Bucs. I told you they were going to struggle early part of the year. I had the Bucs winning 11 games. I'm going to drop that number down to 9. I think the Bucs end up winning 9 games. As crazy as that sounds, Peter, this team has just way too many flaws. The offensive line cannot run block at all. Like, not even a little bit. The offensive line is so shaky. The defense is not as good as it was last year.
Their secondary is terrible.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, there's just a lot of bad things involved. Todd Bowles he's not a good coach. And I don't think Bruce Arians is either. Like, I think they're both average NFL coaches. They're not helping. Tom Brady, it feels like, has 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The Bucs have had injuries to key skill position players. Chris Godwin still doesn't look right to me. They have no production from the tight end room. Cameron Brate's hurt. They started that other rookie tight end they had. I forget his name. Was it CJ Otton? I think his name is. And it's just this Bucs team.
Well, where is he? Is he not?
I told you he's not. He's done. He's done. Absolutely done. They actually asked him because now he's working with Fox. And they actually asked him. He's like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm good. And I believe him. I believe him this time. And seriously, man, this Bucs team has just so many problems. They're gonna win the division.
Yeah, they are.
From the standpoint of just being good enough to get by. I had this team in the NFC Championship game. I don't see that happening anymore. As magical as a career, of course, that Tom Brady had, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't believe that this season is necessarily his fault per se. He's contributed to some of the mistakes, of course. And I think the training camp stuff, of course, off the field stuff, whatever you want to call it, it feels like he's not all the way there this year. And I think that's going to be the difference. And I don't know. I'm just very down on this Bucs team.
Is he still contracted next year?
He is not, and I don't think he's playing at all. I think there is a 0.000000000. He does not step anywhere on the field next year.
Oh, really?
Mark that down.
I'm coming around on that.
Nope, no shot, Peter. I am that confident that he is ready for his next chapter. I think, Peter, and I've told you this since August. I told you since July, since he took the 11 days off of training camp. If Brady could go back in time and decide.
Well, nowadays, yeah, obviously.
No, I'm not even talking about the divorce. That's not even my point. My point is just if he knew this team was gonna struggle like this, and the coaching would be so mediocre, and just all this that comes with it, I think Brady wishes he would have retired. I really believe that, and I think Brady knows that. I think Brady's people know that. I think the Bucs know that, and it's just a mess for everybody. And Tom Brady's career is going to end on a sour, like 9-8, 10-7 note, probably in a divisional round loss to the freaking Philadelphia Eagles or something like that. And
actually, it could be Packers thing.
Whatever you want to slice it, it sucks. It absolutely sucks, and
Mark my words, I'm betting on Tom Brady on the first round of the playoffs because they're going to be underdogs.
Oh, I tell you what, in playoffs, I think they can win a game. Like, that wouldn't shock me, but there's no way they can compete for anything substantial. They just can't. Unless next week, before the NFL trade deadline comes around and somehow they swing for 1 to 2 impactful players, whether it's a skill position player, whether it's a cornerback, whatever.
They need a
whatever.
corner. They need a running back. They need O-line. They need
Yeah.
a wide receiver. They need a third receiver.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if we wake up next Tuesday before the trade deadline and the Bucs all of a sudden, let's hypothetically, of course, let's say they trade for Brandon Cooks and they sign Odell Beckham Jr., right? And then let's say they also go in and they trade for a cornerback.
I think they need O-line. That's like one.
They will not find an offensive lineman on the trade market. They won't. There's nobody moving line because there's not enough linemen to go around. And if they trade for, I don't know, a guy like Stephon Gilmore, like let's say you had Gilmore. We're playing fancy football here, but if you make my point is you make 2 or 3 substantial moves, maybe I'll start to buy in. But right now, I'm not buying in. I do think the Bucs are going to really be buyers at this trade deadline, though, because I think they owe it to Brady for one last run here. And the thing is, they're really handcuffed in a number of money ways. They're just a mess, man. Mess. One team that's not a mess, Peter, the New York Football Giants. The Giants beat the Jaguars this past week after being underdogs again. The Giants won 23-17 over the Jaguars. The Giants moved to 6-1 on the year. They're undefeated on the road, and the Jaguars fall to 2-5. Now losing, I believe, 4 consecutive games after that 2-1 start. Daniel Jones, another game in which he did enough. 19 of 30, 202 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 107 yards and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, again, just give him the Comeback Player of the Year award now. 24 carries, 110 yards. Such a huge part of that offense. Other side of things with the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, 22 of 43, 310 yards. Travis Etienne, he is now going to be the lead ball carrier in Jacksonville after the Jaguars moved on from James Robinson. They dealt him to the New York Jets. Travis Etienne, 14 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown in this game. And the Jaguars, like I said, lost 4 in a row. Peter, are the Jaguars, did you overrate the Jaguars? I don't remember if you were high on them or not.
No, I was high on the Jaguars. I thought they could. They still can. I mean, they have a sneaky shot to win the division. It's not what I want to see in Trevor Lawrence in year 2. I don't know if that's the stuff around him, but it is what it is. They're not expected to do anything as of now. Next year is the real test, I think.
I will say, I feel like Trevor Lawrence, and I feel like he gets a pass in a lot of this. Like last year, it was you had Urban Meyer, and that was a complete. That was.
Well, listen, you're going to like a 2-win team. You're not gonna turn it.
Yeah, but that was the excuse last year. This year, the Jaguars spent a real lot of money in free agency. Of course, at the first overall pick in the draft, they have real offensive coaches, Doug Peterson, and Lawrence hasn't necessarily took that jump that I expected him to. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, next year. But I thought next year was this year. So I'm kind of lost on everyone's parameters on Trevor Lawrence. And Peter, just to give you the Jaguars' next couple games here.
I just forget. People forget how good Trevor Lawrence was in college.
He was, but so were a lot of quarterbacks. I'm not saying he's not going to work out, but Peter, here is his next couple games here. They're in London against the Broncos. They're home against the Raiders, at the Chiefs, and then home against the Ravens. So if that 4-game stretch, let's say they go 1-3, which I think is probably going to happen, you're looking at a 3-8 team through 11 games, which probably going to end up with a 5-win Jaguars team. And I don't know, that's just not good enough for all the money they spent. And
well, they spent a lot of money, but they didn't get anybody substantial
other
than on the O-line.
I agree. I think we called them the losers of free agency after being the biggest spenders, and they gave a boatload of money to Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. They both played well in this Giants game, but I think we both know that those guys aren't necessarily difference makers, to put that lightly. So again, I'm not saying I'm out on Trevor Lawrence or anything like that, but I do say, for example, guys like Noah of Rough in the Basket, who has been he's not a Trevor Lawrence guy, to put it lightly. And he just believes that Lawrence continues to get a pass after bad performances, after turnovers and everything like that. And everyone kind of just ignores it. I will say Noah's argument will start to get some recognition if things continue to trickle down like this in Jacksonville.
And then on the other side, the Giants, I think they locked up a playoff spot. They're 3 games
Basically, right?
ahead of everybody else in the wild card contention. Coach of the year, Brian Dable. I think they're going to have to bring back Daniel Jones. I don't think that's the right thing to do, but I think they have to do it. And I don't know what they're going to do with Saquon Barkley. They're going to have to re-sign him because that's their whole offense. But if their plan was to just run him into the ground, which I thought they were going to do anyways, I don't know how you can bring him back, but I think you have to bring him back because that's their whole offense because they can't catch the receivers can't not catch, but because they don't get opportunity.
A lot of them are hurt too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, draft a receiver in the first round next year. So
yeah, I think that's probably the route they'd probably taken. The Daniel Jones thing, I do think Daniel Jones has, again, we're still early here, Peter. Daniel Jones could really turn back into a pumpkin. Like, that wouldn't shock me. But through where we sit right now, October 27th,
but their schedule is so easy.
It is, but he's done enough to warrant. Look, he had that sprained ankle.
No, right. He should get
he continued to play. You know, like, he's done enough. I'm not saying he's the future franchise, like, quote unquote, the guy, but he has warranted another year. You kind of kick it down the can and see how it looks in 2023. At this point, now if he kind of falls down a cliff and he pees his pants and the Giants somehow don't make the playoffs, then I think water reached his level and that's it. But as long as he's competent here and the Giants just do enough to win like 11 games, like, even if they suck, like, they should still win 10 games. If he can win 11 or 12 games, like, he's back next year. He's absolutely back unless there is some huge quarterback that's on the market next year, in which I don't foresee. So,
their only test. Listen, December 11th, Eagles.
Exactly, and
I better get flexed in Sunday Night Football.
What is that? You get the time for that game?
No, 1:00, obviously.
Oh, it's a 1:00 game.
You guess who the Sunday Night Football game for is December 11th? I'll give you a hint. One half of the team is your favorite team on primetime ever.
Oh, it's the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
It was the Broncos Chiefs, probably.
Yeah.
So we'll see, Peter. But yeah, shout out to the Giants. Shout out to Brian Dable. He is a real coach, and he was due for this opportunity. And he's my coach of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I understand everyone's like, oh, Nick Sirianni, man. Like, whoa. But look at the Giants' talent. Look at the Giants' freaking skill position players.
Yeah, they have Barkley, and that's it.
Seriously. And the Eagles, they got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, 2 first-round picks. Like, Jalen Hurts finally playing well. They have Miles Sanders, who's a competent back. Like, they have, and of course, the offensive line in Philly, great. So, I don't know. It's Brian Daboll, and I don't even blink.
Yeah, it's not.
But I will give this head coach possibly a shot here. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. They went into LA and they beat the Chargers 37-23. The Seahawks moved to 4-3 on the year. Chargers fall to 4-3. Yeah, Peter, I'm talking about Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll deserves some credit, Peter. We all crapped on Pete Carroll. How could you trade Russell Wilson? How could you actually roll with Geno Smith? And Geno Smith has played better than Russell Wilson. Fact. Geno Smith, 20 of 27 for 210 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Kenneth Walker III, Peter. Seattle's, I think he was their 3rd running back coming out of training camp. 23 carries, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He averaged over 7 yards a carry. Other side of things, Peter, your Chargers. I'm going to call them your Chargers. I believe you.
No, I said that last week. They're not my Chargers.
There you go. You had them going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. I have them going to the Super Bowl. They have, like the Bucs, they have a ton of problems.
That's your team. Like, you can call you, and the Vikings are mine. Like, my Vikings. Like, it's okay. Herbert, 33 of 51, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He was sacked 3 times. Chargers couldn't get anything going on the ground. Austin Eckler only had 9 carries for 31 yards and a touchdown. But Eckler did have 12 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Mike Williams had 7 catches, 86 yards and a touchdown, but Williams is out with the high ankle sprain. He's going to miss a significant amount of time. Keenan Allen made his long-awaited return, Peter, for 2 receptions and 11 yards. So, Peter, the Chargers, like I said, you picked them to come out of the AFC. You were very high. I'm not just singling you out because a lot of the NFL media, a lot of people, for example, Noah and Carr, same thing. They were extremely high on the Chargers, extremely high on Herbert. And I know Herbert's banged up. I know the Chargers have a multitude of injuries offensively, offensive line, skill position players, Herbert himself. But look, man, Brandon Staley, his hot seat should be as hot as the sun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Brandon Staley getting fired unless they die at the end of the season. I hope they face the Chiefs at the end of the season. I really do. I don't know if
And lose by 40.
Yeah, I don't know. They're one game back of the Chiefs. They have problems everywhere. They can't block. They don't have any wide receivers. Mike Williams is going to be out 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
They don't really have a run. I like Eckler, but he's not a running back. They can't stop a nosebleed on defense. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. JC Jackson's out for the year. Good signing you got there.
He was awful anyway.
Patriots, no, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, I don't know. Chargers all the way around just have injury problems as usual. So, then the Seahawks, obviously, and they own the Broncos' future forever. So that's good to see. Kenneth Walker, maybe rookie of the year, maybe
He's
now.
up there.
Brees Hall is not there.
Ironically enough, we talked about how Hall had it pretty much locked up. Remember?
Yeah, and then we cursed him, and now
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce, he's next.
Yeah, your guy Pierce. Yeah. So Seattle, right? 4-3 on the year. They played well on the road. They've won 2 road games. They're 2-2 on the road to this point. Geno Smith is same thing as Daniel Jones. I think he's earned enough in which he deserves to continue to play. He's had a season. He's had a 7-game stretch that I did not anticipate that he would be able to do. Peter, he has 11 touchdowns and 3 interceptions through 7 games. I would have never, in my wildest dreams, imagined something like this to happen. The last time he was a full-time starter, Peter, was 2014.
Yeah, with the Jets.
The Jets. 8 years later, he's able to play better than he's ever had in his NFL career. Again, shout out to Pete Carroll, because a lot of people called him washed. He's got to retire, this and that. In Seattle, they are a legitimate contender in the NFC West. Believe it or not, they're right there.
Yeah, they are at the top of the division. They want to do what they want to do. They have a running back where Pete Carroll can run them 20, 30 times. So it's good.
Yeah. And one last thing before we switch gears here. I'm just very down on Staley as a whole. He's a defensive guy, right? He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams before he got his opportunity with the Chargers. And that defense has regressed since he's got there. And that's a fact. The last 2 years, it's regressed. They spent a lot of money in free agency and via trade. And J.C. Jackson, I know he's out for the rest of the year, but before he got hurt, he was not working out. He was burnt numerous times. He didn't even play to open the year with an ankle injury. They spent a boatload of
We should have
draft
seen
picks
that
to get
coming.
Khalil
though.
Mack.
We should have
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that coming.
I agree. I said the same
Right
thing.
when the
to somebody,
Patriots
yeah.
did franchise tag, they should have known.
That one was an obvious one, right? That I feel like
Yeah.
probably should have realized that one coming. Like, oh yeah, like that makes sense.
They always do
it-
that. Revis and Gilmore.
I think Jackson's the worst one at all.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson is the worst one so far. And maybe he'll bounce back next year, but who knows? Are you down on Herbert? For the first time, Peter, and since Herbert has been the starting quarterback for the Chargers, I was watching, I think it was Fox Sports 1 or ESPN, I forgot which one it was. And one of the segments or talking points were, did people overrate Justin Herbert by putting him in the same class as guys like Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, and Josh Allen?
Listen, he's not he's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but he did miss Keenan Allen for a long time over the middle. That didn't spread the ball around, and he's gonna miss Mike Williams. He's not healthy, so now he's still a top, like 7 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I
don't think so. I didn't personally. If you
a lot of
put
people
over
did,
Mahomes or Allen, like you're stupid anyways. But
a lot of people did. A lot of people said he was in that category. And I thought it was premature. The guy's never even made the playoffs before. And
I think he's better than Jackson and Burrow and all them. But
he has a sub 500 record as a starter. Take that what you want. And you can't even be like, well, he doesn't have the talent, because he does. I know a lot of it's been hurt this year, especially in the offensive line, but he certainly had enough to succeed. And Peter, through 39 starts, he's 19-20. He was 6-9 his rookie year. He was 9-8 this past year, and he's 4-3 to this point. And I think the Chargers are probably going to be 10-7 at their ceiling, 9-8, 10-7, probably is my guess.
Yeah.
So I just don't think he should be in the same category as guys like Josh Allen, Mahomes, and I think the love for Justin Herbert was a tad premature. He is a real thrower of the football. He has a cannon of an arm, but I still think he has some work to do.
But don't kid yourself. If you're 23 other teams, you would take.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying he sucks. Don't let that.
Even you,
doesn't
Mr.
suck.
Mac Jones, the #1 fan over there, you'd pick Justin Herbert.
No, I'm not saying he's better than. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's not in the elite of the elite crew, is all I'm saying. I think he's more on par with a couple guys you just mentioned. Lamar Jackson. Who was the other guy you mentioned? You mentioned Jackson. Yep. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's more on that kind of par. I don't think he's that elite status yet. Could he be? Yeah, at some point, but I don't think it'll be under the Brandon Staley regime.
Oh, no way. Yeah, no way.
All right, Peter, let's talk about another AFC West team. Kansas City Chiefs. They defeated the San Francisco 49ers 44-23. And Peter, before we get into this game, the 49ers made a significant trade Thursday night. I believe it was Thursday night, after the Thursday night game or during the Thursday night
Yeah,
game.
it was right when the Thursday Night Football is concluded.
Yeah, so the San Francisco 49ers acquired running back Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers. And this was the package they got. So in exchange for McCaffrey, the Panthers received a second-round pick in 2023, a third-round pick in 2023, a fourth-round pick in 2023, and a fifth-round pick in 2024. So that's a real significant amount of draft capital to give up for a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who is due a lot of money this year, on top of the fact that his durability is always in question.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was a weird trade. I mean, San Francisco's offense should be amazing, but they're that team that can bring you and you could run for 80 yards in a touchdown. It seems to always happen. So, I mean, they are punting on next year's draft. They don't have a first round pick because of Trey Lance, so they can just sit back and just not even show up to the draft. But they're all in. I mean, Super Bowl bust. NFC is so weak. They did get gashed. Their defense should be better. They got gashed by the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are the Chiefs. But I mean, yeah.
See, my take on it, I understand why they did it, but it's just contradictory to what we learned a month ago. Like they were all in on Trey Lance, and they thought that the team was good enough with Trey Lance. All of a sudden, your quarterback goes down, and you still think you can get to the same point with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I mean, they did 2 years ago, and
they did
years ago.
No, they did,
and it should be better for him. And he is still there for 3 more years or whatever it is. It's not even a 1-year rental. So
yeah. And McCaffrey's due a lot of guaranteed money. I think he's due $12 million guaranteed. So we'll see if the 49ers want to. I should say it's not guaranteed. I'm wrong. He's due $12 million, Peter, but the 49ers don't owe him a dime in terms of guaranteed dollars. So the 49ers could cut him if they really wanted to, and they really would not owe him any money. Not saying that's the route that's going to happen, but the 49ers do have leverage when it comes to that. The guaranteed money on McCaffrey's contract has already been paid out. I think overall, Kyle Shanahan does a good job with run concepts. We've seen guys kind of turn into stars, you know what I mean? Running backs that do enough. But I think McCaffrey also helps them in terms of pass catchers. He's somebody that he might be the only running back in the league that is just as good as a passer as he is a rusher. And he's great at both. That's why he's arguably the best running back in the game. And Garoppolo gets another target here. Look, George Kittle for the most of the year has kind of been underwhelming. Brandon Ayuk, he had a good game this past week. And Deebo Samuel is banged up. I believe he didn't practice on Wednesday. So adding McCaffrey to the mix is huge. The 49ers believe the NFC is wide open in their eyes, and that's why they made this deal. But however you slice it, Peter, that's so much draft capital for a running back, especially with one of his injury history.
No, it is. And as I said before, you can, as you're the 49ers, you can plug in any running back, and they seem
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
And so let's go back to this game, Peter. The Chiefs, like I said, they beat the 49ers 44-23. The Chiefs go on the road, and they win. They move to 5-2, and the Niners, their loss brings them down to 3-4. Pat Mahomes was 25 of 34 for 423 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. The Chiefs pass catchers, they looked phenomenal. Juju Smith-Schuster had 124 yards receiving. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 111 yards. Travis Kelce had 98 yards. Felt like they got them all on the same page, which was big. Jimmy Garoppolo, he did not play well. 25 of 37, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He was sacked 5 times. And like I said before, Brandon Ayuk, he had a good game, 7 catches, 82 yards. McCaffrey did play. He had 8 carries for 38 yards, and he also had 2 receptions for 24 yards. I believe he had 18 snaps or something like that, 24 snaps. And Jeff Wilson, the guy that is now the second stringer down in San Fran, he got the ball 7 times. He averaged close to 8 yards a carry. and with a total of 54 rushing yards.
Yeah,
Not ironic.
again, 49ers, thanks for screwing me for Christian McCaffrey. I have him literally
Did you
everywhere
start
in
him?
our PPR league. I had to. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It just is what it is. And I don't think Elijah Mitchell's coming back. I don't think they would have made this deal
I agree.
because he's supposed to come back this week or next week.
Yeah, and I think Jeff Wilson's gonna be their backup.
Yep. And Chiefs are the Chiefs. Gonna roll to the AFC Championship game.
I agree. Chiefs. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. The best team in the AFC. I know they just lost to. They just lost to Buffalo, but I still, at the end of the day, have more faith in Mahomes than I do in Josh Allen. Take that for what it's worth.
They are 1A, 1B, 1, 2. So,
yeah,
whatever.
Whatever you want to slice it, it's going to be one of those two teams because the AFC is top heavy, meaning those two teams and then everybody else. Like, there's a lot of mediocre teams in the NFL right now. All right, Peter, let's talk about the Steelers and the Dolphins, which was a Sunday night football game. Matt's Dolphins.
Gross.
Matt's, it's better than the Broncos.
Fair.
This was the return of Tua. The Dolphins won 16-10 over the Steelers. Tua in his return had 21 of 35, 261 yards and a touchdown. Other side of things, Kenny Pickett was 32 of 44, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Pat Freiermuth had 8 catches for 75 yards. Look, the first quarter, Miami was up 13-0. This game looked like it was going to be a 30-3 game. But the Steelers, they showed me some character. They fought defensively. I think they had 5 dropped interceptions, which was the most in the NFL this year for a single game. And Kenny Pickett, in which I know he threw 3 interceptions, I think he looked adequate in this game. And the Steelers had an opportunity to win this game at the end, and they just could not take advantage.
Yeah, no, nobody scored in the second half.
No touchdowns.
Steelers, Kenny Pickett. He'll be fine.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Mike Tomlin might get phased out, I think.
You think so?
I think he's unhappy. Yeah, I really think he's unhappy. He's not going to get fired because they don't do that over there.
Yeah, no, it's...
But he's going to leave over his own power. Maybe not this year, but...
No, he signed an extension for, I think it was like 2 or 3 more years. But down the line, if it doesn't work out with Kenny Pickett, like if Mike Tomlin, let's say he I don't know, he wanted to leave Pittsburgh tomorrow, he'd without a doubt be the number 1 head coaching candidate for a number of teams. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like a number of teams that were like on the fence of firing a coach. They do so just to ensure they have a shot with Mike Tomlin. Like he's that good of a coach. In this game, he was awesome. You know, he adjusted, right? Miami came out firing. And the Steelers are playing this really soft zone defense. And I'd say 70% of the NFL would probably not adjust. And he adjusted. And he put his team in a position to win. And that's all you can do when you have a roster that is banged up. You have a young quarterback. And that's what they did. So I understand the Steelers sit at 2-5 on the year. I understand all that. But they were right in this game.
And they got a bright future. Draft the O-line, though, please.
Oh, yeah, facts. And the TJ Watt, I believe, is coming off IR soon, if he didn't already this week.
I think he already came back.
Yeah, so we shall see if he makes a difference for that Steelers.
Just tank. Who cares?
Defense.
You're not going anywhere anyway.
Yeah, but you got Mike Tomlin though. They're gonna be competitive. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to go 500, but they're going to be competitive. They're going to fight and claw. And I bet you any money in the world, Peter, at the end of the year, they're going to play someone like Week 17 and whoever it's going to be.
Week 18, no.
Or whatever. Week 18 is going to be big stakes on the line, like a number 1 seed on the line, or I don't know, something. And the Steelers are going to upset them because they're a team not to be taken lightly.
They face the Browns. Can't happen.
Who did they play before that?
Ravens.
Okay, they're going to upset the Ravens, and the Ravens are going to either not win the AFC North because of it or fall out of something with the playoffs. Something. That's going to be the one. Mark it down. And that's a division game, too, so that'll be fun. All right, Peter, let's talk about the Monday Night Massacre. I got a lot on this one.
See, I thought you were with the coach of the year. I don't think we're going to talk about it. Was the Jets?
Oh, no.
Listen, Robert Saleh, ever since he was keeping receipts, he's won 4 in a row.
You put him in the same category as, like, Dable? Oh,
I mean, we'll get to that game when we pick that game, but yeah.
Really? You see, I think the Jets, I think they're a little fraudulent.
It doesn't matter. 5-2 is 5.
It is true, but that's why the award is given at the end of the year, not at the beginning, or not at the midway point.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do a Monday night game.
Monday Night Massacre, Peter. All right, Patriots hosted the Chicago Bears, Peter. This is the return of, air quotes, return of Mac Jones, who played the first 3 series in the game. The Bears won 33-14. Justin Fields had the best game of his career. I say that without a doubt or a hesitation. The best game of his career. He was 13 of 21, 179 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He also had 82 yards on the ground with the rushing touchdown. Other side of things, Bailey Zappi, who got practically all the snaps other than the first 3 series, was 14 of 22, 185 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Mac Jones, who had 3 series, was 3 of 6, 13 yards, and 1 interception. Patriots fall to 3-4 on the year. And the Bears moved to 3-4 on the year, surprisingly. It was the Bears' first road win of the year. It was the most points they've scored in a game since December of 2020.
So, right when I saw John Skaczynski, you weren't watching ESPN. John Skaczynski was on this promo thing. I knew they were going to lose. 2, they can't stop Justin Fields. They can't stop a nosebleed on their run defense. 3, they should have they should have stopped them on third down all day, and they did not. 4, Bill Belichick should be fired for dressing around Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. I don't really care if that was a game plan or if that was a game plan. We planned to play both of them. Blah blah blah. Listen, that number 5, Mac Jones, stop throwing picks. Stop doing it. You had Jacoby Myers wide open on the other side.
You see, you're calling for Belichick's head, and I thought I was going to be super negative.
Number 6, Bailey Zappi. Nice story, but that's what it is. That's a real defense. As we said, the real part of the schedule is coming up. It is what it is.
Peter,
number 7.
Oh, there's more? How many points you got, for God's sake?
I don't know. I can keep going. The Bears are the Bears. And fire everybody in the Patriots. Matt Patricia shouldn't have a job.
What's number 8?
How his office key work Monday morning.
Is there a number 9?
It doesn't even matter. Lost cause of the Patriots.
No, you got a 10. Now you got to get 10. You can't have 9. That's dumb.
I don't have a 10.
Oh my God! How do you not have a 10?
I don't. Well, I mean, Mac Jones is starting. If they don't win versus, he is getting blown in the fire. But
that's Peter's 10-point recap. I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
How do we have a name for that? But not our.
Wait, were you like? All right, you were at the field.
I will give Peter. I'll give you my whole.
You were at the
story.
field when
Peter, I will.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're actually at the game.
I was there.
You could hear it. You could hear it.
I was present. I was present, and I'll let you know how it went. So, like I've talked about the last couple of weeks, I think I've talked about it on the show. I'm surrounded with a lot of people that have Zappy fever, whether they're in my house or they're out of my house. I've been surrounded by it a lot, and I'm known as a guy that's been a Mac Jones guy for a number of years now, and I've stuck by him during this whole Bailey Zappi era in his games against the Packers, Packers, Lions, Browns. I was always of the mindset that, hey, let's slow down here. They played the 2 worst defenses in the league. The offense has looked different because the play calling has been different. And and if you've watched the Patriots over the last 20 years, you understand the month of September is always their worst month in the year. And they always get going in the midway part of the year, like they did last year when they were 1-3, as they were this year. So off the bat, I've been Team Mac since the beginning, and I haven't wavered from that. And so Monday comes around, right? I'm at work, and I'm just kind of scrolling through like Twitter, and I did think there was something up. I tell you what, I text Seth Corwin of the Daily Go, our law guy, and I was like, you know what? Like something. He's a big Zappy guy, and I was like, something's up. I think they're gonna play. I think something's gonna be weird tonight because all the reports are saying it. Like he's not gonna no one said who's gonna start. It was like Mac Jones is expected to play. No one said expected to start. Then you had Scott Zolak of 98.5 The Sports Hub say that he thinks Zappy's gonna play. So it was all like a conundrum of a multitude of different reports, different opinions, different viewpoints. So I knew going into the game something was up. Now I was of the belief that I bet you Mac Jones starts. And then a couple hours before the game, so this is when I was tailgating, there was a report from ESPN that the Patriots were going to play 2 quarterbacks. And I was like, you know what? They freaking are. They're literally going to play Mac in the first half, Zappy in the second half or something like that. I was like, they're freaking going to do that. And like, I'm talking to the people I'm tailgating with, and they're like, oh, you're stupid. Like, they're not going to do that. You're an idiot. And I'm like, hey, man, I was just reading what the report said. Like, don't look at me. So I get there, get to the game, and I, of course, have my number 10 jersey on, Peter, of course. And as soon as Mac Jones threw one incompletion, There was a very, very large group of people that were chanting Zappy, and I'm just sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we're doing this already? First drive comes around, and it was a 3-and-out, which the Patriots were plagued by a penalty from Trent Brown.
Oh my God, Trent Brown sent him to the moon. You sent Isaiah Wynn to the moon. Send him
Trent
to
Brown,
the
this was his worst game of the season for him for sure. And yeah, he was bad. So first drive, 3-and-out, the Boo Bird started, and I was like, all right, like chill a little bit, right? Then the second 3-and-out came, and they were louder. And then there was a Zappy chant that started. And then this was his kid, right? 2 rows in front of me. He took off his Mac Jones jersey, right? He had a red Mac Jones jersey on. He threw it. And I was like,
did you have a Zappy shirt underneath?
No, he didn't. He did not. I wish he did. He just had like a gray sweatshirt on. I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And there was 2 people in front of me that actually had brains, and they were like, chill, like relax. And I was like, yeah, I know. And third drive came along. Patriots are moving the ball, 10-play drive. They converted on that 4th and inches or whatever it was. Mac Jones completed the ball to Hunter Henry. It was a nice ball, and it looked like they were kind of getting into rhythm. And then I won't make an excuse for it. It was a bad interception. It was very similar to the first couple games of the year. Interception came, and Peter, it was the loudest I've ever heard that stadium. I was like, oh my God. Like,
well, did you flip after that?
I was like, oh my, I didn't know. I didn't, of course I'm not wavering.
No.
I wasn't wavering. No, because I watched the first half of the Cowboys-Lions game last week, and Dak Prescott looked the exact same. Because when you miss multiple weeks, I don't know, especially with that injury and stuff, but whatever. Then, of course, I'm sitting there on my phone because, like, whatever, it's like the Patriots about to get the ball back. I didn't really have it too much in my mind. And all of a sudden, the place goes nuts. And I look up, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. The place is going nuts. I had people turn around and laugh at me, and they're like, you spent money on this jersey, you freaking moron. And I'm like these 2 girls, right? They're a couple years older than us. They look at me, and they laugh at me. Because I was the only one not, like, chanting, because I wasn't chanting. Like, Zappy didn't do anything. He just ran on the fields. So I'm sitting down, and I'm just like, oh, my phone, Peter, blew up. I had like 67 text messages in like 20 minutes from a number of different people being mocked. Your co-host mocked me, Peter, mocked me. I didn't respond to any of them. I was like, I'm going to wait to see how this plays out. And of course, Zappy throws the 2 touchdown passes early on.
Well, that's when I was like,
oh, and I
like,
still did.
Oh, no.
The first one, Jacoby Myers, was freaking 30 yards open.
Yeah, but Mac Jones was thrown in the triple coverage on the other side of Devontae Parker.
Tell you what, Zappy might have been seeing the field better than Mac, but Zappy did not play well in this game. He had 4 passes batted down at the line. Shocker, because he's like 5'9". I was just joking. He's 6 foot, but 4 of his 8 incompletions were batted down at the line. He had trouble reading the blitz. The second half, the Patriots scored 0 points. Of his, I think, 10 completions he had in the second half, 6 of them were checkdowns to Ramondre Stevenson. And Peter, so I have the NFL Plus, right? Of course. And I went back, and you don't want to know how many times I watched whatever. So I watched it all, and I watched the different like play calls and that sort of thing. The Patriots offense under Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi do not even look the same at all. The Patriots run a vertical offense with Mac Jones, and they run a horizontal offense basically with Bailey Zappi, which caused the Jacoby Myers touchdown. And to me, I just could not believe that Bill Belichick did that sort of thing. I think it was the worst game of the Bill Belichick era. I think I say that without even hesitating. What he did to Mac Jones is something that I was truly surprised about. Mac Jones practically being humiliated on national television after having that short of a leash after missing a month, when all Bill Belichick had to do for the last couple of weeks would say Mac Jones is the quarterback when healthy, and all the Zappy fever bullshit goes away. But he didn't. He kept the door ajar, and Zappy did what he did. He played well, right? And the door was ajar, and people bought in. And then I think Bill Belichick bought in for 10 minutes. And then he's like, oh, wait, I'm not a moron. And then the news, of course, that happened Wednesday, Mac Jones will start against the Jets, which he should. He's the better quarterback. He has the higher ceiling. Bailey Zappi, in my opinion, got exposed. And similar to how Cooper Rush got exposed against the Eagles on his last start, look, Bailey Zappi is a great backup in this league. I think he is. I didn't think he belonged in the NFL. He does. I will fully say that he belongs. But if we're going to sit here and pretend he's better than Mac Jones, I don't care. I know Mac Jones did not play well in his 3 series. He's going to play better against the Jets. I said that without even hesitating. To have that short of a leash was just asinine to me. It made no sense. Belichick got too cute, and it was his worst game plan, like I said, in 20 years. And like I said, if it was any other coach in the NFL, we would laugh at them. We would say, like, what are you doing? Like, that's stupid. That's like the Cowboys after Dak Prescott struggled in the first half, but people pretend they didn't see that. That's like Mike McCarthy putting back Cooper Rush in the game and Prescott watching from the sideline.
Hey, somebody said on Twitter, and it's actually really right. It's really, really funny when another team has a quarterback controversy, but it's really no fun when your own team has one.
Yeah.
And it's true.
It's true. It's absolutely true. And I hope the controversy is put to bed. But Peter, that was the worst Patriots game I've ever been to in my life.
It will be put to bed if Mac Jones wins versus the Jets.
Yeah.
If he looks
competent.
Again,
it looks competent.
I don't know.
And the thing is, now he's in his own head. He knows the coaches don't trust him.
Well, we went off on that reporter and the fan. Like,
the coaches don't trust him. And the play calling is night and day from Zappy to Mac Jones, Peter. The Patriots offensive line crapped the bed when Jones was out there, and I don't want to say set up for failure, but he didn't have a chance to succeed. And that was ultimately my takeaway. Mac Jones had zero chance to succeed in this game. It was a bad interception. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was atrocious.
Triple covers at the bottom.
It was bad. He didn't see the safety coming over the top, and
Myers was
watch the coach's
on
film.
the other side.
It was Parker. It was Parker.
Or whatever.
That was the play before. So the play before, it was 3rd and 10. Mac Jones hit a dump down pass to Damian Harris. Harris dropped it. But if you look at the left side of the screen, Devontae Parker is open for a touchdown, but that was his one misread. Nobody, if you look at it, Peter, you can look at my NFL Plus. Nobody else was open for every other freaking snap he had except for that one, and he missed it. So, yeah, I was very unhappy, Peter, and I hated that game. I wanted to die in my seat, being laughed at by people, getting texts, but Bailey Zappi sucks, like I said. So, but Bill Belichick does not get a pass. Matt Patricia does not get a pass. Both awful game plans. They thought they could walk into this game with you at quarterback and win, and that wasn't the case.
And thanks a lot for costing me my Survivor League.
Same here. I lasted a while.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, Peter, I was very. I'll tell you what. I'm glad we didn't record yesterday. I'm glad we record. I should say I'm glad we recorded on Wednesday as opposed to Tuesday. I was very hot on Tuesday. Very, very. I'm still hot, but I'm not as hot as I was before. And I'm very happy that Mac Jones was named the starter. I'm more at ease than I was before. And before we go, I'm gonna read you some of my text chains. Just one or two that I got, and I didn't respond to any of them.
Obviously. I mean, it is what it is. On Bo Sox, I did predict that he would get benched.
So Justin, we'll stick to Justin, right? Because that's a good one. Justin goes, so this is before Mac got benched. He goes, good throw. Good throw. Then he puts a zap emoji, and of course, I don't respond. He goes, get ready for the zap. And he puts a picture of Zappy warming up. He goes, LOL, I'm dead. He goes, it's over. They keep zooming in. Where's Mac? He goes, he's done. Rip J. J, you alive. LMFAO. Ha ha. He goes, Mac is literally done. I'm crying. He goes, he'll be a good Colt. He goes, 20 minutes later, he's like, hey, Jay, just want to let you know your boy got replaced. He's bad. And then he sent me a picture of his Zappy jersey. And then he goes, what size should I get? And he goes, I'm so happy. And then he sent me a picture of Mac Jones on the bench. And he goes, by the way, your guy got benched.
Oh, yeah. Fire that ESPN guy that every 2 seconds was filming Mac Jones.
Oh, my God. I'm not surprised at all. But that's why the whole thing made no sense to me, why they wanted to go with the 2 quarterback thing. The thing blew up in Bill Belichick's face. I don't think that was his intention this game. Like, I don't think he was like, we're going to start Mac Jones, and when he throws a pick, we're going to take him out, and everyone's going to scream Zappy. Like, I don't think that was his intention. I think his intention was to play Mac Jones a little bit and see how it looks and then go with Zappy for the rest of the game. And that's why I think he told Peyton Manning in the ESPN broadcast booth that we're going to see 2 quarterbacks. Like, I do think that was the game plan, and I think that was an awful one. It made no sense to me in a number of different levels. You hurt Mac Jones's confidence. You hurt Bailey Zappi's confidence. And Mac Jones didn't look comfortable. It was just a mess from the start. And now you need to get the locker room back in order, because after the game, Jacoby Myers, Ramondre Stevenson, they were both like, we had no idea Zappy was playing, and we think what happened to Mac was rough. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not like,
well, I feel bad. I feel bad for him.
Mac got a screwing. And I do think, Peter, though, Mac Jones being named the starter yesterday, Wednesday, October 26th, is good news. for the locker room, for the organization. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kraft stepped in, whatever. You got to do it, man, because you just could not let you could not. And let's actually let Mac Jones play with some play action and with some horizontal routes and stuff that worked last year. Like, let's just try that. Let's just the offensive line try blocking for like one series with Mac Jones, just one. Peter, just one. That's all I'm asking for, one. Nope.
I'll raise you and then just chop throwing in triple coverage ever.
Yeah, no, that you're right. You're right, and I ain't defending that. That was a bad throw, bad read, bad throw.
Off his back foot.
Off his back foot and everything. But I think that goes with the central theme of the game. He wasn't comfortable.
No,
not at all. Nope, not even from the start. And I think he wasn't comfortable with looking over his shoulder in the game. I don't think he was comfortable with the ankle. Why did you play him? It made no sense to me. Like, if you were going to do that, you shouldn't have played him at all. Awful on a number of levels. And like I said, worst loss in the Bill Belichick era, and it isn't close. It goes right with the KC one in 2014, but that one ended up propelling them to a Super Bowl, and it rejuvenized Tom Brady's career. So
and this will not.
We'll see what this one. Mac Jones, let's see how he looks. All right, Peter. Want to get into our picks for this week?
Yeah, let's run it.
All right, Peter, let's run this crap. So I don't have a survivor pick, but I will lead off. Unfortunately, I'm out. My first pick of the week, Peter, Raiders -1.5. They're going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I like this game a lot for the Raiders. The Raiders offense looked good this past week against the Texans. They put up 38 points, and I think the Saints are in disarray. Andy Dalton, he turns the ball over too much. Kamara isn't right, and the Saints pass catchers aren't healthy. And I don't think that Saints defense is very good. I like the Raiders here, and I think the Raiders are a team that people might start talking about if they string a couple wins together now.
Thursday Night Football, Ravens -1 over the Bucs. Bucs have a ton of problems, and I don't think it's going to get better, even if Mark Andrews doesn't play on Thursday.
So I'm not picking a Thursday night game. I told you I picked my one, and now I'm done for the year until Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving parlay will be back on. All right, my second pick. I'm picking the Cowboys Bears under 42 in this game. I don't think the Bears offense is very good. I think that was a outlier. I think they're probably going to put up something like 14 to 17 points this week against a very good Cowboys defense. Dak Prescott isn't necessarily 100% healthy. Zeke Elliott looks like he's not going to play this week. I like the under in the game. I like the Cowboys to win the game, but I like the under.
And I'll go along with that. Cowboys -9. The Bears are actually going to face a real defense. I think freaking whatchamacallit. Is their middle linebacker?
Parsons.
Well, yeah, Michael Parsons is going to get 4.5 sacks.
So. Love Michael Parsons. Peter, I will say, we deserve credit for that. We said he would be the best defensive player in that draft, and he is, by far.
For sure.
My next pick, Peter, this one might surprise people. I'm going to go Steelers +11 against the Eagles. Eagles coming off of a bye week. The Steelers came against a game in which they lost the Dolphins by 6 points, but they were in it. I've been saying it for weeks now. The Eagles are due for a little bit of a regression, and it wouldn't surprise me if they came off the bye a little slow. I think the Eagles win the game, but I think the Steelers cover, and it's a real game. Steelers +11.
Yeah, I'll go along with that narrative. I have the Packers +11.5. I think the Packers are way undervalued. I know Packers look like crap, but this is the first time in his career, I think, that he's above a 11 or a double-digit underdog.
I think so too.
His whole career. And I don't think it would be that of a blowout.
Yeah. I like that one too. I know it's the same situation because Buffalo and Philly are coming off buys, both at home, so we'll see if one of them falters. My next pick, I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders +2.5 over the Colts. Colts, like we said, are starting Sam Ehlinger. I don't necessarily think it's going to be smooth sailing in that first start. Taylor Heineke feels like he has that Commanders team rejuvenized, playing good football. I think the Commanders win this game outright on the road. Commanders +2.5.
And I'll go the complete opposite because Colts -2.5 because I don't think you can go worse than Matt Ryan.
So and Peter, you get the Colts for the division, so if they can't lose this game, they just
probably will. It doesn't matter.
My premium pick of the week, I'm going to go Bengals -3.5. Monday Night Football, they're going to Cleveland. The Browns screwed me this past week. They covered against the Ravens. I don't have them covered against the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow and that Bengals offense are clicking on all cylinders. They put up, 35 points against the Falcons this past Sunday. Joe Burrow threw for almost 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, 481 yards total. Feels like the receivers are coming in their own, and I like the Bengals to win this game big.
And my premium pick, listen, All right, backstory real quick. My premium pick of the week was going to be Packers plus 11.5. I had the Panthers plus 4.5 just because they're facing the Falcons and I wanted to fade the Falcons. But Matt called me a bad word. So my premium pick of the week is Patriots -1. I think Mac Jones is going to beat the Jets outright. The Jets have no Breece Hall anymore, and that's their whole offense. Zach Wilson can throw 100 yards all he wants. It doesn't even matter. They're going to win outright. They're going to be better than the Dolphins. Dolphins going to lose this week.
Ooh, they lose to the Dan Campbell and the Lions?
Yeah, I don't care. Dolphins gonna finish last in the division. There you go, Matt. Suck on that.
Peter is standing by. Standing by. Wow. All right.
When the Patriots win, I'm gonna call you the same word that you call me.
Oh my God, freaking Matt and his new dictionary. All right, Peter, you want to talk a little bit of baseball before we end the show with some
Yeah, let's do it.
Some five questions and not about football.
Let's do it real quick.
Talk some baseball, Peter. All right, so our World Series matchup is set, Peter, and I'll give you credit. You nailed it. So we'll start off with the National League. The Philadelphia Phillies feels like their story has got people tuning in to watch. They ended up beating the San Diego Padres. It was 5 games, right? And Bryce Harper, that home run he hit in Game 5, man, was crazy. Philadelphia Phillies are a team that fired their manager in season, Joe Girardi. We're under 500 for the first 2 months of the year, and they were able to really pull together, and they're heading to the World Series. That city is on fire right now. You see they're greasing up like the flagpoles and stuff so people don't climb up them. It's crazy in Philly right now, and they beat some superior teams. Beating the Braves to get to this point, beating the Padres. Like, shout out to the Phillies here, man, for real. And other side of things with the American League, we both picked the Astros. You had the Astros in 7 over the Yankees. I had the Astros in 5. I thought the Yankees had no shot in the series, and I think I was right. The Yankees were swept. Peter, I'll let you talk because I'm sure.
Oh, Yankees running it back. Bringing back Aaron Boone. Bringing back Brian Cashman. Jordan Steinbrenner is still alive. They wouldn't have been fired 4 times already if they were using motivation for the 0-4 Red Sox. The worst time in Yankees history as motivation to come back from 4-0. Good luck to you. Garrett Cole is a loser. Aaron Judge is leaving that team. They got swept versus the Astros. They're obviously outmatched. I didn't think they were going to lose, but I thought that they would have actually gave him a chance. The Guardians would have gave him a better chance than that. But I mean, as you said, Phillies Astros, a good World Series. The last time the Phillies lost or won the World Series was the economic recession of 2008. So maybe that'll happen in 2022 because you know how the world is. And do you want to know the only games that they haven't scheduled a World Series game? And won't shock you.
I do know, but you can say it.
Yeah, Sunday because of the Eagles, and then Thursday because of the Eagles. So good on you, Phillies.
And that wasn't even that wasn't on purpose. That's the World Series schedule was already kind of pre-booked, so I think that was pretty ironic. And if you want to talk about fantasy tales and Cinderella stories, that bodes well for the Phillies. My take on the Yankees here. I am a little surprised they brought back Aaron Boone. I'm not surprised they brought back Cashman. I think, look, when you brought in Aaron Boone, the expectation was the Yankees to get to the next level, which is the World Series, and they haven't been able to do so with Aaron Boone now after year 6, I think it is. And it's tell you what, it feels like they've reached their ceiling there. I do think their roster was clearly less talented than the Astros roster for sure. And I feel like they were mismanaged at times. That bullpen for the Yankees didn't have the talent. Felt like the rotation had 2 guys, and I know you call Garrett Cole a loser, but it felt like it was Garrett Cole, Justin's guy, Nasty Nestor. That was it. Cortez. Yeah. And when you look at the lineup, Josh Donaldson was a legitimate 0, and
everybody was a 0.
Yeah, in the playoffs he was a 0, and I don't know what they go from here. I do think Judge
they should have won. They should have fired both of them up there coming back. So
do you think Judge stays? I think he does. I think they make it work somehow.
Facetious, no, but yeah, I do.
I do. I think it'd be real bad for the Yankee brand if they move on from, or if Judge moves on from them. I'd be shocked. So we'll see. But Peter, who you like in this World Series and why?
I like the Astros reluctantly. I think they're just all the way around better talented, but I'm rooting for the Phillies. Nobody wants to root for the Astros.
Tell you all day, Peter, I'm saying I was going to pick Astros in 6, and screw it. I'm taking Phillies in 7. It just feels like the Phillies are just fate. They're playing some really good baseball, and the Astros, who haven't even lost a game this postseason, which is crazy. I think they finally lose this postseason, and I like the Phillies in an upset. I do. I think Bryce Harper is on another level right now. The Phillies are playing with some real heart. I like them in 7. All right,
Yeah,
Peter.
I mean, I have the Astros in 6. So.
Astros in 6. All right. Let's talk 5 questions not about football, Peter, because this was a very football-heavy episode. And I'll tell you what, if you don't like the Patriots, I apologize for the Mac Jones rant, but I had to do it, so I apologize. All right, Peter, Halloween, like we said, is around the corner. What was your favorite Halloween costume you've ever worn?
Power Rangers, the red Power Ranger. Fun fact, I wore that 5 times in a row, I think.
Okay, this isn't a question, but are you a Power Ranger this year?
No, I should be, though.
Okay, question 2. What is your favorite Halloween candy? 2-parter. What is your favorite Halloween candy and your least favorite Halloween candy?
Can I say raisins as my least favorite Halloween candy? Or is that cheating?
Raisinets? No, Raisinets. I'll give you that.
All right, raisins are the absolute scum of the earth. The most favorite, maybe just a straight Hershey's. Kit Kat. Kit Kat's good, but as a Kit Kat guy, don't break your Kit Kats. Don't be a child. Don't play with your food.
Yeah, I like Kit Kats too. I'm a big Kit Kat guy, and yeah, I agree. Kit Kat and Hershey's, the cookie dough Hershey's are really good, like the Oreo ones.
And cream one.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Peter. Question 3: what is the stupidest Halloween costume you've ever seen?
Can I go with a future answer of every Andrew Tate that we're gonna see in the next 4
Oh yeah,
days?
you can go there if you want. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be Andrew Tate.
See, I don't know how you would. I mean, I guess it's the glasses and stuff.
I don't have an answer for that though.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm stumped you. That's a surprise.
Why do you have an answer for that?
I feel like I've seen some pretty stupid. Well, I don't want to consider jerseys as like stupid because that's always a good fallback plan, like sports jerseys.
Listen, I'm gonna do that once
on Saturday. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of other things that I've seen. I think clowns pretty stupid. I don't know. I don't like clowns. Like, I mean, I don't have an issue. They're not scary to me. They're just kind of dumb. Like,
I'm gonna be a snake.
Real funny. Real freaking funny guy. All right, question 4, Peter. Again, this is a very Halloween festive questions about football. All right. So, Peter, I noticed that you carved a pumpkin, and you sent me a nice picture.
Shout out the day we go.
I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna post that. So you remind me to send you that. You already did send me that, so you remind me to post that on Monday. But Peter, what is your take on pumpkin seeds?
I love pumpkin seeds. They're not as good as sunflower seeds, but they're amazing. Put some ranch seasoning on that. Yeah, of course you have sunflower seeds. You probably have a spit cup right there.
There's no spit cup. This is just water.
All right, fair. No, but put some ranch seed, put some brown sugar on them. Whatever you want. Really good.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm with you. I love pumpkin seeds. They're my absolute favorite. I haven't had them in the last couple of years. I want that to change this year. I know we're running out of time here, but
you can just buy them.
Yeah, I know, but they're not as good to me personally. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll kind of do some digging here about what's the best. But no, I'm with you. They're absolutely, unequivocally awesome. Oh, I love pumpkin seeds. All right, Peter. Question 5. We're gonna go back to the costumes. So, Peter, what are you gonna be on Saturday?
You suck. You told. Oh my. I don't know. What are you? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. It's TBD. I don't know.
So Peter is TBD. And fine, Peter, I'll reveal you my costume. I'll be straight with you. I am being an athlete. That's no, it's not, but it's not what you think. It's creative.
All right, this is the last episode of Pombo and Peter's
It's not a jersey. It's
Week
creative.
9 in the NFL. Jason's gonna be by himself.
No, it's creative. It's creative. It's not. Tell you what, I will not be wearing a jersey. That's
if you come with a baseball bat and a glove.
No, I'm not bringing a baseball. What am I? A baseball coach?
No.
I'm gonna dress up as Coach TJ Albin and Coach Goldberg. No, I'm not doing that.
All
no,
right.
it's you'll. I think you'll get a kick out of it. But that's my hint to you.
I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out in like Friday. You'll be like, oh,
not Saturday morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning. I'll die if it's the same costume.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It might be Mac Jones.
Maybe it's Mac Jones. Yeah, you're right.
Who knows?
All right, Peter. Well, another great episode here. Next week we will again continue to harp on the NFL season. we'll see how Mac Jones does in his first full start since week 3 against the Ravens. We'll recap the World Series. I don't think it'll be done by then, right? No, definitely not. We'll kind of recap about how it's gone so far. Maybe we'll talk a little bit NBA. NBA season just started. I know we had that NBA preview with Cara and Noah, which was awesome. So, yeah. All right, Peter, and have a good Halloween and stay safe.
Stay spooky.